Welcome to the deep dive. So today, we're talking about a fortress coming down. For decades, if you wanted a textbook example of a company fiercely guarding its IP, you pointed to Disney.
Oh, absolutely. Their legal team wasn't just protective, they were legendary.
Right. The global gold standard, the drawbridge was always up. But in a move that signals, a truly tectonic shift in Hollywood, Disney has just opened the gates. They're licensing their core universe from Mickey Mouse to Darth Vader to OpenAI. This is a massive moment.
It is a huge moment. When this deal was announced in December 2025, the headlines were all about the big numbers. A 3-year deal, a billion-dollar investment, access to Sora and ChatGPT images.
The text-to-video and text-to-image tool.
Exactly. But our sources go much deeper. They really detail the specific terms, the financials, and I think most critically, the incredibly tight guardrails they put in place.
And that's our mission in this deep dive. We need to unpack the specific agreement, understand the sheer scale of the IP they've unleashed, and what new standard this sets. Why did Disney decide licensed participation is now a smarter move than just endless litigation?
It's a fundamental pivot.
Let's get right into the nuts and bolts. Let's start with the money, with the mechanism. This is more than just a contract, right? Disney didn't just rent the AI, they really bought a seat at the table.
You've got the framing exactly right. This is a partnership. They're financially intertwined with the technology itself. So at its core, it's a 3-year licensing agreement.
Okay.
But the financial commitment is what really sets this apart. Disney is making a hefty $1 billion equity investment in OpenAI.
$1 billion. That is a serious show of faith. But the sources mention something else too, an additional financial instrument.
Correct. They aren't just buying current stock, they're also receiving warrants to purchase future equity.
So for anyone less familiar with that jargon, what does a warrant actually do?
A warrant essentially gives Disney the option to buy even more stock at a set price down the road. It just cements their long-term vested interest. I mean, they have skin in the game for the next decade, not just the next 3 years.
That positions them brilliantly. They are a major customer, licensing the AI for their own use, and they're a vested owner in the company that builds it.
Exactly. And the use cases go beyond just this external fan creativity thing. Disney is becoming a core OpenAI customer internally, too.
How so?
They plan to deploy customized versions of ChatGPT for their own employees and use OpenAI APIs to build new internal tools, new experiences for platforms like Disney Plus Play.
Wow. So it's a triple strategy, an investment, an IP license, and a whole company-wide digital transformation.
All in one deal.
Okay, so they've bought in, they've secured the tech. Now let's talk about the gold mine they've unlocked. Which characters, which universes are we talking about here?
And this is where the scale of it all, it just truly hits home. The license covers a defined library of more than 200 specific characters.
200?
More than 200. And critically, this spans the core of their mega brands. So Disney Animation, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. Every single crown jewel is on the table.
That is just, it's an unprecedented level of access. I mean, this is a company that once sent cease and desist letters over birthday cakes. Releasing 200 characters feels revolutionary.
It is. And it's not just the character models. The license includes animated, masked, and creature characters, but also the whole ecosystem they live in.
What do you mean by ecosystem?
Iconic locations like the Millennium Falcon or the Pixar Ball, specific vehicles, costumes, recognizable props.
So we're really talking about licensed digital building blocks. You could prompt Sora to generate a short with, say, Mickey Mouse and Baymax, but they're standing in a stylized version of Wakanda next to a creature from Star Wars?
Precisely. The goal is to give OpenAI this massive, rights-cleared, instantly recognizable universe. It gives Sora a huge leg up in the generative market. Imagine being able to legally generate Iron Man flying through New York, or a quick duel between Yoda and Darth Vader.
But only the animated or illustrated versions.
Exactly. Which, leads us directly to the most important part of this whole deal, the guardrails. While the scope of the IP is massive, the most critical element here, the feature that sets a precedent for every other studio, is what is absolutely excluded.
And this speaks directly to what the unions and creative groups have been demanding, making sure AI doesn't just replace human actors and voice talent.
That's the core of it. The crucial constraint is that any actor likenesses or voices are strictly off limits, explicitly excluded from the deal. This is the hill Disney decided to die on.
I think the example from the source material makes it really clear. You could generate the character Woody from Toy Story, But the output has to be without Tom Hanks's voice, and it certainly can't generate a photorealistic Tom Hanks.
It's a clean separation, a clean line between the intellectual property, the character design, the cowboy hat, and the human labor, the unique voice, the photorealistic face. This is the model the industry has been waiting for.
And what about brand safety? That has to be huge for Disney.
Oh, essential. Both companies have affirmed a shared commitment to responsible AI. Outputs have to be lawful, brand safe, rights cleared.
So they must have massive filters and moderation controls built in.
Absolutely. Complex controls to block illegal or harmful prompts, specifically age-appropriate policies given their audience. But here's the key strategic detail. Disney can dial the scope of the license up or down,
So they have a kill switch, essentially.
or at least a volume knob.
Yeah.
They didn't just sign the deal and walk away. They maintain control as the system gets tested out in the wild.
So why now? Why, after decades of fighting tooth and nail, did Disney suddenly decide that licensed participation was better than constant litigation?
It really boils down to, I think, a sense of digital inevitability. Sora's here. The tech can produce high-quality, social-ready shorts at scale. Disney realized that fighting a global pie to this stuff, it's a legal and financial impossibility.
The volume is just too high to police.
Exactly. The old legal posture is, well, it's just untenable. So by licensing the IP, Disney is strategically shifting fan creativity from being classified as infringement
To become a participation.
to becoming participation under license. This gives them enforceable rules, moderation control, brand safety, all things they'd never have if fans were just creating this stuff illicitly on some other platform.
It's an embrace of remix culture, but strictly on their own terms.
Precisely.
That makes a lot of sense from a risk perspective. They're buying control over the governance. What about for OpenAI? What's their main upside beyond the $1 billion?
They gain instant gold standard credibility, a flagship, rights-cleared universe that is recognized everywhere. This is a massive differentiator for Sora in a really crowded market.
Okay, so the stated purpose is a license framework for fans, but let's bring it down to the user experience. I'm a fan. I have Sora. What am I making? A full-length movie.
No. We need to be really specific about the format. We're absolutely not talking about generating a 22-minute episode of a Star Wars cartoon. Fans will be creating prompt-driven, minute-scale set pieces.
Okay, what does minute scale set piece mean in practice?
It means short bursts of creativity, usually between maybe 6 and 15 seconds long. They're non-narrative clips designed for visual impact. Quick, fast, optimized for social media.
Like what?
The sources gave some fun examples, like generating a stylized clip of Ariel swimming through a fantasy reef, or the fan-imagined lightsaber duel on a red sand planet. It's all about stunning visuals and rapid sharing.
So the primary distribution is social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts.
That's where most of the user-generated stuff will live. But the most intriguing part for Disney's business model is the integration with their own platform.
Disney Plus.
Yep. A key detail is that curated selections of the best brand-safe Sora shorts are slated to stream on Disney Plus starting in early 2026.
Ah, curated. That's the key word, isn't it? That implies a very rigorous vetting process.
It has to be.
Is there a risk here, though? That by letting millions of people remix your characters, you dilute the value of the premium, professionally made stuff?
That is the core risk. And it's exactly why that curation process is so important. Disney Plus isn't opening some endless, uncensored fire hose of fan content.
Right.
They'll be running showcases, specials, basically using the best fan content as marketing material for the tech and the brand, while keeping the quality bar extremely high for what actually shows up on the service.
It manages the risk of dilution.
It tries to, yes.
Sure.
But, for the listener who likes to look ahead, this whole deal raises some really critical questions that are far from settled. This is just the beginning.
I think the biggest immediate flashpoint has to be creator compensation. The unions, the creative guilds, they must be scrutinizing this like never before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Their concerns center entirely on value and credit, especially for the derivative works that go viral.
So if a fan makes an amazing Star Wars short that gets millions of views, and then Disney showcases it, what happens?
That's the question. Should the original human creative teams, the animators, the concept artists who made the source material, get a residual, a credit, that system for licensed AI creations? It just doesn't exist yet.
And then there's the more insidious long-term concern, replacement via remix. The worry that AI-generated concept art or short animations could slowly diminish the need for human roles.
Absolutely. If a studio can generate 1,000 alien concepts or 36 set pieces in an hour with Sora, that fundamentally changes the workflow for a human concept artist. The deal protects actors, but the risk to certain types of design roles is still a huge watch-out.
And what about just the sheer technical challenge of moderation at this scale?
It's the ultimate challenge, ensuring youth protections, blocking harmful outputs.
Yeah.
It's a nonstop battle. You have to assume people will constantly be trying to push the boundaries of those guardrails.
So what's the big takeaway here? How fast is this model going to spread?
Well, it means that standard setting is going to become a competitive arena across Hollywood in 2026. This Disney OpenAI agreement is the first major standard set in stone.
A blueprint.
It's a blueprint. What IP is in, how human talent is explicitly out, how the studio keeps control. Every other major IP holder, Warner Bros., Sony, Universal, they're all looking at this right now, deciding if they can afford not to follow suit.
What a phenomenal breakdown. We've covered the massive two-sided nature of this deal, this unprecedented licensing of over 200 characters, but coupled with these strict, non-negotiable guardrails protecting human likenesses and voices, it's a huge calculated bet.
It really is. And the discussion is about so much more than just fun fan videos. If knowledge is most valuable when you apply it, this partnership leaves you with a really fundamental question for the future. As these large studios move from fighting fan creation to licensing it and controlling the means of that creation, what does ownership truly mean in the age of generative AI? And how quickly will this model spread before the technology outpaces the contracts?
That is the perfect question to mull over as we all wait to see if our Disney Plus queue starts filling up with AI-generated shorts in 2026. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.